Good morning, everyone. How are we? Hope you're all well. I came on early because I was watching the bloody comments, live chat. What's the difference between Steve Fuller? G'day. What's the difference between top chat and live chat? I have no idea. Hey, Beaker, how are you? Yeah, we're going to be talking about that this morning in depth, everyone. I see what we're all on the same sheet of music, but obviously, and this is what I want to talk about this morning, maybe us old people just need to shut the F up and just, I don't know. We'll talk about it later, eh? I'm as frustrated as anyone. However, listen, no, I don't want to get into it now because there's just so much to talk about. G'day, Papal. I'll do some shout-outs first, everyone. I think we knew it was coming, didn't we? Oh. The weather up here is shite, everyone. And I mean shite. Windy, belting down rain, handing out leaflets yesterday in the pouring rain. That's 5 hours of my life I will never get back. Let me tell you, might be the last time I do that. Bloody hell. It wasn't the most exciting thing I've ever done. I was up at East Palmerston yesterday, handing pamphlets out for Bob. It was belting down rain, and there was about all day 30 people turned up. So, and 2 horses, a cow, and a couple of sheep came past as well. So I was up in the middle of nowhere on the Palmerston Highway. Oh, dear. Anyway, Russ Longson's on. We're going to be talking about all this morning. Russ, hang in there, mate. I don't know if Russ is watching from work, everyone. He might be working from home. Maybe Russ is running his unit today from home. Everyone can work from home now, everyone. So if your house doesn't get built or your car doesn't get fixed, your concrete slab doesn't get laid, it's okay. They're working from home. But anyway, we'll get on to that later, eh? The two-party system is, yeah, I know. It's a bit of a weird system, isn't it? It really is. I don't think that made a difference last night, but they won it on their own accord. But anyway, we'll talk in depth about the election. That's what the whole lot of this is about. We'll do some more shout-outs this morning. Ray Newman, before we get on to that, there's some other stuff I want to talk about, some more stuff. But listen, it's not all doom and gloom, everyone. Let's keep a positive attitude. Could be worse, eh? We could be living in Ukraine and getting bloody rockets and drones and bombs dropped on us, not knowing if you're going to go to bed that night, it'll be your last night where a rocket comes through your roof. So, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people doing it worse than us, everyone. So just remember that, eh? Game day for the doggies. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the footy soon, Russ. My team got rolled last night, guys. They only played 40 minutes of football instead of 80. Someone needs to tell the Cowboys that the game's 80 minutes, not 40. That 40 minutes, they were on fire. The second half, what happened in the first half? I'll explain where I was soon. I was bloody up the Palmerston Highway, collecting my table and flag and all that type of stuff. So I missed the first half of the game. And when I got back, I tuned in and thought, oh, my God. But anyway, up the Tigers. Tigers had a win. Yeah, absolutely. That's my job. What's my job? Phil Taylor, how are you? Gonna do one day, saying good morning to Jack Turtle. Chrissy Anderson's on, guys, and Nomadic Yowie. Hopefully you can all hear me and see me okay. The picture looks a bit grainy. Maybe it's not light enough. Yeah, that's better. No, that's all right. You can still see me. Me sign there. Yeah, we got heaps to talk about this morning, as per usual, everyone, but it'll be dominated by the election. We'll get on to that soon, eh? Phil W's on over the ditch. G'day, mate. How are you? Yeah, I know, mate. I know. I'll tell you what, the Warriors, they only just hung on, mate. They were running out of puff in that second half. The big Marty boys, they were running out of puff. The Cowboys were coming to get them, but they hung on. It was a good game of footy. Can Elon take me to Mars yet? Nah, who cares? Pat Ryan, how are you, mate? Haven't heard much about that diddly donk for a while. Yeah, so let's get into the footy scores, eh? Tell you what, I'm not having a good week, guys. There's not a lot of, for me, a lot of good news, especially on the footy front. Everyone is losing that I follow. Herb Hamilton. G'day, Herb. How are you? There's a new name I haven't seen. Herb Hamilton saying g'day to everyone from Rocky, which is Rockhampton, guys, down in central Queensland. G'day, Herb. Thanks for tuning in. Are you a friend of Trev Kelly's, mate? Do you know Trev Kelly? Trev's down in Rocky. Haven't seen Trev's name up there yet, but YouTube telling me I'm live. Thanks, YouTube. Lukey Reed's on, the diddly donk from Tasmania. G'day, Lukey. Hope you're well, mate. Yeah, so Johnny Tyson, the drifter. Morning, Buck and the team. Morning, John. How are you, mate? Hope you're all well. Roachy's on. Dicko's Destinations. Jeff McGovern. Tassie Coin Hunter. There's another good name. The Tassie Coin Hunter. We got another Taswegian on, guys. The Tassie Coin Hunter down there. So we've got a couple of Tassie guys on, Lukey Reed and the Tassie Coin Hunter. What's that all about, Tassie? Do you go out, I don't know, Tassie Coin Hunter? Do you go out metal detecting and that for coins or something, mate, maybe? I don't know. Like to hear your story behind that one. Michael saying g'day to Jack. Rightio. So everyone watch Steve's Ranger build with his electrical system. It's coming along nice, Steve. Best place in Australia, Tasmania. Yeah, if I tell you now, mate, if it wasn't so cold down there, I could live in Tassie easily. I love it. I love Tassie. It is a beautiful place. I could live in Tassie very, very easily, but the weather would kill me, guys. I'm riddled with arthritis. I'm not real good in the cold weather anymore. So, but Tassie, yeah, it's one of my favourite states, guys. My favourite state. I love Tassie. There's a few diddly donks live down there. One of them's in Launceston, but it's a really good state. Is Tyler on? Tyler's on as well. We've got 3 Taswegians on, guys. Tyler Hass is on. That's right, Tyler. Asking Lukey if you went to AgFest. AgFest was on when I met up with Lukey and Tyler for a coffee. Forget where it was now. I can't remember, but it was near where Tyler, jolt my memory, mate. I met up with Tyler and Lukey for a coffee, Roz and I. And it was when the AgFest was on, and it was really shit weather, I remember, wasn't it? It was really bad weather, and that people were getting bogged. Drop bear prospecting, born and bred on the northwest coast of Tasmania. There you go. Wow, that northwest coast, my goodness. Over at we stayed in a caravan park at Smithton, up in the northwest, and then we went around to dear, my memory's going. We actually went around to the western side, and I'll tell you what, they call it the end of the edge of the world or something, and you just look out to the Great Southern Ocean. It's not Bass Strait. It's actually it's where the Great Southern Ocean joins the Indian Ocean, I think, and it was very, very scary on that west coast of Tassie. I thought, my God, it was rugged. It really was. West is best in Tassie. Next time I'm down there, Tyler, I want to get all the way down to Queenstown and places like that down the southwest. If I don't have a caravan on, I wouldn't mind getting down and having a look around the southwest. I went to the northwest. What's that little place? Stanley? What a great spot that is. Stanley, that's on the north coast, but it's on the way over to the west coast. But we did stay at Smithton, I think the name of the town was. Great little caravan park there. Really enjoyed that. Marky Lavell's on. G'day, Mark. How are you? Mark's bloody Eels got done. We'll get into the footy scores. Thursday night. This is weird, guys. The female state of origin was on. Their season hasn't even started yet, and they start the season off with the state of origin. I don't get that. I honestly don't get that. Why wouldn't you put the female? I don't know. It's just weird to start a season off in the female rugby league with a state of origin. They haven't even had time to, with the males, they play bloody a third of the season and then we get into origin. So they're used to the game, their skills are up and that. The girls just went straight into an origin first up. Come on. Mind you, it wasn't a bad game. Good skills. The cockroaches, the female cockroaches, too good for the cane toads, guys, 32-12. Good game till half time. New South Wales, too good in the second half. So anyway, the cockroaches are one up on us there. And that was at bloody Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane too. So the next game's down in Sydney. So there's a fair chance she might go 2-0. I don't know where the third game is. Then Friday night with the NRL, Sharks beat Marky Lavelle's Eels 28-18. So the Eels come back to earth with a thud there. Sharks got on the winning board and they needed to. 28-18 over Parramatta. Sydney Roosters, too good for the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they're their own worst enemy, dropping the ball, making mistakes. If the Dolphins can sort that part of their game out, they're going to be very competitive, but they make too many silly mistakes in their own half, and that costs you. Anyway, so the Sydney, I'll tell you what, they're looking good, the Roosters, aren't they? Considering how many people they lost, they're looking good. Roosters 36, Dolphins 26. The Knights, sorry, I just bloody swallowed a bit of bloody saliva down the wrong way. The Knights are back in the winner's circle, everyone. Newcastle Knights 30 over the Rabbits 4. I did not see that game. I was up doing the election stuff. I was still tied up with that. So, yeah, Knights are big winners over the Rabbits. And then last night, I only saw the second half of this game. I turned the computer on the KO, and it was 28-12 at half time. And I thought, if you're going to let a team in for 28 points in the first half, you're not going to win the game. Anyway, they came back, the Cowboys. They played really well in that second half. Some exciting football, and got back to 30-26. So the Warriors only got a penalty kick in the second half, but they beat the Cowboys. They hung on. They were running out of puff, the Warriors. Phil Weber. They were running out of puff, and the Cowboys nearly got them last night. And then the next game was the Tigers 34 over the Dragons 28. So the Tigers are going well. The Wooden Spooners, they're doing well. They got a couple of good signings, Jerome Luai and that. So well done to the Tigers. And today we got Titans Bulldogs. This is all Magic Round in Brisbane. So every game's in Brisbane. So there you go. The Broncos, then Penrith and the Broncos. So this is a Broncos away game, and it's being played in Brisbane. Work that one out. So the old Broncos, everything falls their way, doesn't it, with this type of stuff? Titans, Bulldogs, Panthers, Broncos today, and the Storm and the Raiders. That will be a good game. Storm Raiders is the main game tonight on TV. Panthers, Broncos will be a beauty, and the Titans are the Bulldogs. Watch out, Russ. The Titans, mate, when the Titans click, they can roll anyone. But, yeah, they got some problems. I think they've dropped Fafita. And Paulie Martin's Manly's got the bye, everyone. So there you go. There's the footy scores for the weekend so far. Now, a really special announcement here, guys. I don't know if he's on. Is Slacken on? He is. Slacken's on, everyone. G'day, Mark. How are you? I've got a really special announcement in relation to Slacken, everyone. Slacken's wife, Julie, her nana, no, not her mum, her nana is still going, everyone. Julie Bullian, her nana turns 100 in 3 days' time, in Australian time, on the 7th of May. Julie's nana turns 100. Unbelievable. So let's give some thumbs up for Julie's nana. And guess what? It gets even better. Guess who else's birthday that is? Rafa's. The 7th of May is Rafa's birthday. And he's just lying down there having a rest. I'm going to grab him in a minute. And Rafa turns 13. Don't know what that is in human years, but he becomes the oldest in the house in 3 days' time, Rafa. 13 times. So it's about 5 for a small dog, about 5 years to a human year. So, Rafa turns 13 on the 7th. and Julie's Nana turns 100. So to Julie's Nana, happy birthday for the 7th, which will be the 8th Australian time, but it's still the 7th of May over there in Canada. So what a remarkable innings that is, guys. We say that, Mark, what a good innings, meaning a cricket innings. 100, a century is great. That's a real milestone in cricket to get your century. And when someone lives to 88 or 92, people say, what a good innings that is. You're referring to cricket as an innings. You don't get 92 runs in a game of cricket. So Julie's Nana's 100. So heaps of thumbs up there for Julie's Nana. Scruffy Bollocks is putting the Canadian flag in, the thumbs up. And I'm going to grab him. Here he is. Hang on. Hey, come here, buddy. Ready? Come and say happy birthday to Julie's Nana, who's going to be 100 on the same day as you, mate. He just woke up, everyone. He said, happy birthday, Julie's Nana. He said, guess what? I'm going to be 13 on the same day. So 13, what's 13 fives? Whatever that is. I only learnt to me 12 times tables. 13 times 5. I can't do that in my head. I only went to me 15. 65. Rafa's going to, I should know that. 65 Rafa's going to be, which makes him older than me and Roz now. So Roz is no longer the eldest in the house. Rafa is, everyone. A lot of people say there's 7 years to a dog. I think with a small dog, it's more like 5 because small dogs generally live longer. Starting to think now, 13, it's starting to go through my head now that, he's getting old. And I'm starting to wonder how much longer has he got left. I hope he's got a lot longer left, guys, because, I love him to death. He's my best mate, that dog. I've had a lot of good dogs over the years. He's an absolute beauty. He's more of a son to me than a dog. So he's 13 now. And as Steve, and I keep quoting this one, Steve Fuller said to me once, he said, our dogs don't live long enough, Buck. He said, they only live for a short time, and it's our job as humans to give them the best possible life. And that's true, Steve. I still remember you saying that to me, mate. So, yeah, 5 for small dogs. So Rafa will be 65, and Julie's Nana is going to be 100. How good is that? Wow. Really, really good. So pass on our happy birthday wishes, Mark, to Julie's green mum, mate. Absolute incredible. When you said Julie's green mum, I'm thinking, green? It can't be green mum, but well, it is. Hence the 100. So absolutely, yeah. Get Rafa a seniors card, Marky Lavelle reckons. Yeah, exactly right. So the happy birthday to Julie's Nana. Good stuff. Now, some sad, speaking of losing your dog, guys, I've got some sad news. Tim the Tool Man. Tim lost his bloody best mate the other day, Jake the Staffy. Jakey, for anyone who was at Jack Turtle, anyone who came up to the Bramston Beach, Mr. Buckaroony camp up, Tim had his dog Jake there. Beautiful Staffy, just a really good dog. And Tim's gutted, guys. Tim's lost his best mate Jake. And he lost his Siamese cat around the same time too. So Tim's a bit down in the dumps at the moment. You lose your animal, you lose your pet cat. It was a Siamese cat, and then lost his best mate, Jake, who used to go just about everywhere with Tim. So, Tim, condolences, mate. It's bloody terrible losing you. I know when I lost Kobe, my golden retriever, I was howling. I was straight to the bottle shop, bottle of rum, sat down the back, howling my eyes out, drinking rum. That's how I dealt with it, and you never forget them. Kobe's ashes are in the shed. I say good morning. Every time I walk into the shed in the morning, I say good morning to him. Zebby's out the back, buried in the backyard. I say good day to Zebby when I go out. It's shit losing your pets. You get attached to them, don't you? You really do. Yeah, Camp and Oz, dog years are 7. That's the general rule, mate, for a large dog. With the smaller dogs, the Jack Russells and he's a Jack Russell Silky Terrier. It's more around the 5 because smaller dogs generally live longer than the bigger dogs. So you get the big Bull Mastiffs and Great Danes and all that, like you get 7, 8 years out of them. Smaller dogs, some of them go 18. I've heard of small dogs going to 20. But, you can get to 18 on a good wicket with small dogs. So when's my 60th birthday, Mark? On the 5th of July, mate. I turned 60 on the 5th of July, which isn't too far away now. 2 months and 1 day. I hit the big 60, guys. And guess what? I can tap into me super without getting taxed. And guess what? Veteran Affairs go, you hit your super, lad, we'll take your DVA off you. We class this as an income. And I'll let you pack of arseholes. So my superannuation is trapped until I'm 67, guys, because if I touch it, Veteran Affairs class it as income, and I just lose my Veteran Affairs pension. That's what I mean. If you guys had any idea how putrid Veteran Affairs was and how hard they are to deal with, and that's why I get the shits when I see these politicians like Peter Dutton now. He's done 20-something years. He'll retire on a filthy big pension now for doing 20-something years as an MP. I do 20 years in the military, serve overseas, and you get a friggin' a pittance compared to those guys. It's absolute bullshit. And then when you get broken and your body starts breaking down because of the bloody wear and tear that the Army's done. I mean, let me tell you, 20 years in the Army, guys, the Army is hard on your body. And I mean, it's just a different beast. And you speak to anyone who's done time in the military, we all come out busted. Not busted as in just wear and tear on the body. My body is the wear and tear of an 80-year-old because of my time in the military. I tell you now, it's I'm riddled with arthritis now. And I'm not just making it up, guys. I've had all the body scans and MRIs and CT scans and all that, and the orthopedic surgeon, he just went, friggin' hell, mate. He said, you've put your body through the ringer. When he brought up my thing on the big screen, and wherever it lights up white, you've got trauma, and he was thinking that maybe your knees will light up white, or maybe your lower back will light up. My whole skeleton was glowing white. He said, I've never seen anything like that, mate. So that's what I go through. That's why I'm now riddled with arthritis and that, guys. That's why I'm on a Veteran Affairs pension, because the jobs I did after the Army, there's no way I could still be a cop now. My body is not up. My back is not up to it, guys. If I sit down for too long, if I stand for too long, like yesterday, if I sat for too long, my back seized up on me. If I stood up for too long, my back seized up on me and started aching. Like I've just got to keep moving or I'm rat shit. I get out of bed in the morning, even though I've been lying down, my body aches. My body aches until I get up and have a hot shower and start moving. I feel like I've been friggin' hit by a car. That's what I go through every day. But anyway, I tried to rectify that with alcohol, and that didn't work. That made everything worse. So, and I've talked about that in some podcasts and all that type of shit. Anyway, so how do I go down that rabbit hole? How did I get down that rabbit hole, everyone? What was I talking about? Yeah, so I turned 60. Thanks, Mark Lavelle. That was your fault. I turned 60 on the 5th of July. People will go, Buck, you can access your super. No, for two reasons. Veteran Affairs will penalise me for it. And two, there's not a lot left in there anymore, thanks to the big orange fella. So last time I looked, I was 18 grand down the gurgler. So I don't want to touch it. I want to let this 4 years get out of the way. The big orange fella pisses off. Then maybe our super will go back up. And when I turn 67, and that's when my Veteran Affairs pension payments stop at 67. So I don't want to touch my super, because at 67 a lot of my Veteran Affairs stuff ceases, and then I'm going to be relying on my super to get me through. So my super's in till 67. Hopefully it'll keep building up until then. What else was I going to say? And the other thing too, I also get a small DFRDB pension, guys, Defence Force D death and retirement benefit or something. It doesn't exist anymore. When I joined the military, it was a career. If you did 20 years in the Australian Defence Force, you come out with a small pension for the rest of your life. And I got that when I got out of the Army. I was about 38 or something when I got out. and I've been getting that small pension every fortnight ever since. It's worth about 20 grand a year, guys. That's it. It gets taxed, and I'm left with about 20 grand. I'm not whinging about that. I'm grateful for it. Be nice if it wasn't taxed, but it does get taxed, and that's what I'm left with, about 20 grand. It's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, isn't it? But hey, I did 20 years of hard slogging it to get that. When I turned 60, the taxation thing on that changes. So I will get taxed less on that. I wish we didn't get taxed at all, but we get taxed less. So I'm plucking this number out of my ass now. If it goes up by $150 a fortnight in the hand, my Veteran Affairs pension goes down by $150. So I'm still no better off. So I know Pap in here said, oh, Buck, when you turn 60, your DFRDB pension is going to go up. Yeah, it will. And my Veteran Affairs pension goes down by exactly the same amount. So I'm no better off. You having a party? Down need... do we need to book flights? Am I having a party? No, I'm not, Phil. No, it's just another day, mate. It's just another day closer to dying for me now. When you get to my age, every birthday is a year closer to dying. That's the way I look at it. I don't celebrate. I don't get into all that shit, mate. Me and Roz will probably go out and have a countery at the local pub. That'll be my celebration for my 60th. I don't do parties and all that shit, mate. When I was 50, when I hit 50, Roz surprised me and my son and my daughter. And I knew Lauren was coming over from Perth for it, and Phil turned. I didn't know Phil was coming, so my two kids turned up for my 50th. That was wonderful, but no, nothing for me 60th, mate. A countery and a steak and a couple of schooners, the Great Northern, at the local pub, mate. And then we'll come home and I'll probably go to sleep. That'll be my 60th birthday. Anyway, so happy birthday to me for 2 months' time. Who else was there? Oh, there's someone else out there that's got a birthday around the same time as me, and I'll forget it. If anyone else has got a birthday on the 5th of July, let me know. I remember there's a couple of army mates. Andrew Munn, Pap, Money, and Mark Slavin. I can't remember. I was on the 5th. Money was on the 4th of July. Then it was me, and then it was Slavo. I think there was 3 of us. And we went birthday, birthday, birthday. So it was 3 days on the piss for us 3. Andrew Munn, Money, and Mark Slavin were either side of me, our birthdays. I still remember that, eh? Labor will take 30. Yeah, it doesn't matter who's in tie. They're all going to take it, mate. It doesn't matter. We're going to talk about that soon. Now, listen, down at the Sydney Super Show, there's a bloody, I was going to say a plethora of diddly donks. There's been a lot of photos coming in, and it's good to see from the Sydney Super Show, the Caravan show and the camping show down there. And there's a heap of the community down there, everyone. The Camping with Mates community mainly. And they've all been dropping into Jan at Shady Gear and saying g'day. And I've had a few photos coming through. Now, Jamie Fulton and, oh, goodness me. Karen, sorry. Gee whiz. My memory's bad, guys. I need another sip of coffee. Jamie and Karen, they won the tickets. Jan had a couple of tickets to the show. Jamie and Karen won them, and they're at the show, and they got their photo taken. I think Paulie Martin's there with his wife. Bradley Howell's there, guys. Brad's there, and Brad's got a Zone RV thing hanging around his neck. So Brad's there not working, but helping out on the Zone RV side. So Bradley Howell and Mary's probably there as well. And a little bird told me, was it you, Phil Taylor? I don't know if it was, I think it might have been Phil. Said Brad Howell, he's helping out on the Zone RV. Brad's like me with Jan. I love helping Jan out at the Shady Gear. Greggy Campbell's down helping Jan out at the moment, which is fantastic. We don't get paid for it or anything. We just love helping Jan out. And Jan needs the hand to help set up and just needs an extra set of hands to help her out. Anyway, Greggy Campbell's helped her out at the Newcastle show, and Greg's also helping Jan out at the Sydney show. So it's always good for Jean to have that extra set of hands to bloody help pull the gazebos down and chat to people and all that type of stuff. I'll be doing it for Jean at the Townsville show in a couple of weeks, everyone. I'll be on the Shady Gear stand. So Jean will be coming up to North Queensland to the Townsville show, and I'm helping Jean out there for that one. So Brad's doing the same thing with Zone RV, and I didn't realise this until I saw the photo. Tofty apparently must be up at the Sydney Super Show with the Zone RV thing, and Brad and Mary own a Zone RV, guys. So Tofty, I don't know if this is the case. It may not be. Tofty's probably said, hey, Brad, do you want to help us out at the Zone RV thing? What better way or what better people to have on your stand than someone who has that product? So Brad's not employed by Zone RV. He's just helping out. Like Jan, I'm there. I can talk to people about the Shady Gear walls and that because I go camping, and I don't think I'll need them on Tuesday when we take the van out because it's pissing down rain. It has been for a while. So Brad's got a Zone RV. Who better to talk to people that come up to Zone RV about the caravans than a salesman who probably doesn't own one? He's just a salesman there. Tofty's got a Zone RV, obviously, but you go to a lot of caravan sites and you got all the salespeople there. Do they own one of those caravans? Possibly not. Brad and Mary own a Zone RV. They bought it with their own money, guys. So who better to ask questions about a Zone RV than an owner, than someone who owns one and goes out touring and camping in it? So, and a little birdie told me that Brad Howell may have made a sale the other day and sold a Zone RV caravan for Zone. So, well, if that's the case, Bradley, well done, mate. Well done. And Brad, I couldn't think of a better person to give honest opinion and to ask questions of than Brad. Brad would have run them right through and would have said, listen, I own a Zone RV. I bought it with my own money, and would have talked up how good they are. So apparently Bradley made a sale, which is good. Go, Justin, how are you? The amount of money Zone charge for a van, they should pay him. Yeah, they're not cheap, are they? No caravans are, mate. All the big boys, Kedron, Zone, Lotus, Sunseeker, all the big boys. None of them are cheap, mate. None of them are cheap. Yeah, I hope they don't ask Brad how to fill the sink up. How does the sink work, Brad? Because Brad flooded his caravan because he put the plug in, everyone. He turned the water on, and then he heard Tofty and Elisa and Mary talking out near the campfire. So Brad thought, I'll go out and have a jibber jabber while the sink's filling up. Got sidetracked, and Tofty said, what's that noise? And it was water overflowing into the caravan. And Brad flooded his caravan because he went out for a jibber jabber when he's filling the sink up. So well done to Brad. It's good to see him there working. And it's really put a smile on my face seeing Brad, who was it, Paulie Martin and Jamie Ford, all the gang down there, all coming in and saying g'day to Jean, getting their photo taken with Greggy Campbell and all that. It's good to see some familiar faces all getting together. That's what this community's about, you know. You get to meet each other on these camping things, and then next thing you know, everyone's saying g'day to each other at the shows, and it's got a real good feel to it, hasn't it? Jamie's on. G'day, Jamie. How are you, mate? Thanks for the tickets. No, thanks to Jean, mate. Jean was the one who offered them to me. I just ran a competition that I almost forgot about, and you and Karen won them, mate. So I hope you're enjoying it there at the show. Yeah, bloody, it put a smile on my face. Anyway, there was another funny thing come out of there. Was it Marky LeBear? Mark said, a gathering of diddly donks. And I think it was Mark or someone said, what do you call a gathering of diddly donks? And there was Paulie Martin, Jamie, who else was there? Jan, Greggy Campbell and that. And someone mentioned a heap of diddly donks in one photo. Anyway, this is the official thing now. What is a gathering of diddly donks? It is now a diddle. A diddle of diddly donks. It's like a flock of geese or a murder of crows, a squadron of F-18s. It's now a diddle of diddly donks. So that is the official word for the gathering. We need to get that put into the concise Oxford Dictionary. So that'll be the new word next year. You know, they always add words to the English dictionary. The next word is going to be a diddle. A diddle of diddly donks is a gathering of diddly donks, guys. So there, Bobby Asser. Speaking of diddly donks, I was Bob Asser. I shouldn't. That's right. It was too. It was Bob Asser. I laughed when I read it. That's right. It was Bobby Asser. Someone said, "What do you call a gathering of diddly donks?" Referring to the photo, and Bob Asser was the one who come up with diddle. So there you go, Bobby Asser. Your word is going to be the new word in the concise Oxford Dictionary, mate. A diddle of diddly donks. Good stuff. That was I had a good laugh when I read that. That was bloody funny. Anyway, we'll do a few more shout outs, read a few things, and then we'll get into the big topic of the day, which is the election last night, eh? They probably bought the Zone RV. They slacking said those people probably bought the Zone RV Caravan just so Brad would stop talking to them. Is Bradley on? I don't know if he'll be on, but I'm sure he'll see this. Slacking, that's the comment of the morning so far. If you think I can jibber jabber everyone, Brad Howell, he is good on the gibber, everyone. Bradley is good on the gibber, let me tell you. So, yeah, no, that's good. It was good to see. Oh, this bloody puts a smile on my face sitting there, and Brad's there helping Tofty out, and he's got the Zone RV thing on. And as I said, good work, Tofty. I couldn't think of a better couple than Brad and Mary to have on your stand to talk to people, because Brad, he could sell ice to an Eskimo, that bloke. He's very good. A very genuine guy. I mean, I'm being serious now. Brad, very genuine guy. And I couldn't think of a better bloke to have on there. Do Viscount and Millard still exist? Steve Webb. They were the old two original vans. Remember that? I don't know. Every now and then I'll see an old Viscount and I'll go, oh my God, an old Viscount. I've seen a couple still on the road, Steve. Viscount and Millard were the old original Caravans. Back in the day when Caravans used to be dragged around, we didn't have all these dual cab 4-wheel drive utes and all that back in the day. They used to get dragged around by Kingswoods and old bloody Falcons. Kingswoods and Falcons, guys. There was no GVM and ATMs and all this bullshit back then. You just bought a Caravan, throw her on the tow ball of the old XY Falcon and go. An old Viscount or an old Millard. And now, have a look how far we've come. Boy, oh boy. You know, it was just a box on wheels back in those days. They still are in a way, aren't they? But all the fancy shit that we've got on there now, back in those days, they probably didn't even have batteries and all that. You just went in there was a bed, and that was about it. A bed and a couple of cupboards. There was just a little bedroom on wheels, the old Viscount and Millard, and now we've got all the fancy gear and all that type of stuff. Yes, Aussie, I am. Am I coming down to the Townsville Caravan and Camping Show? Absolutely I am, mate. And I'll tell you exactly when it'll be, because I was going to tell everyone about it. I will be at the Townsville let's call it the Caravan and Camping Show, helping Jan out on the Shady Gear stand on Friday the 16th, Saturday the 17th, and Sunday the 18th of this month of May, which isn't far away. What are we at the moment? 4th. It's only a couple of weeks, guys. So 16, 17, 18 is the Townsville show, Caravan and Camping Show. I will be on the Shady Gear stand. So if you're in Townsville, Aussie, come and say good day, mate. I'll be there. Me and Jan will be sitting there having a coffee or something. I'll be jibber jabbering to everyone. Jan will be doing all the work, and I'll be there talking to everyone. So, so if you're around Townsville on those dates, what did I say, 16 to 18 of May, I'll be on the Shady Gear stand, everyone. So that'll be good. Yeah, Aussie, I will be down there, mate, absolutely. So if you come along, mate, come up and introduce you. I don't know what you look like from a bar of soap, so come up and introduce yourself, please, and we'll have an argument over the big orange fella. What do you reckon? We'll have a chat about Trumpy. Aussie gets upset when I have a go at the big orange fella. We're not even going to talk about him today. he might be mentioned in the next segment, which is going to be about the thing last night. Morning, Wixinator. There, Anthony Wix is on. Wixie, how are you, mate? Hey, tell you what, it is not long until the Camping with Mates thing in September. May, June, July, August, September. Another 4 months, guys. We're all going to be down there. We're coming down for it. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting down there. Hopefully get some nice, cool weather down in New South Wales. And the Camping with Mates is going to be on. Rob Richmond's on. G'day, mate. Anyway, there are a couple of definitions for diddle, by the way. Some are not appropriate. Yeah. There's dibble and all that. Yeah, we'll keep it all clean. But, Rob, it's a diddle of diddly donks. That's a gathering of diddly donks. So if it's got any other meanings, it doesn't mean much here. It's a diddle of diddly donks. There you go. And that word was invented by Bob Asser, everyone, if you're wondering. No, they're talking about surfing and that. Tyler, Victoria has a vehicle regulator on the roads now, similar to NHVR, and they pull you over, cars, utes, caravans, trailers. Anyone else seen this? Victoria has a vehicle regulator on the roads now, similar to NHVR. Well, we've got the Scalies here in Queensland, the main roads guys, and they just seem to target truckies. They just seem to target the truckies. I'd like to see them start putting some vans over the scales and all. We've talked about this before, guys. We've talked about this before. I'd like to see the Scalies leave the truckies alone for a while, let them do their job, and start putting some caravans and shit over the scales and weighing them. Because let me tell you, I saw a lot of overloaded caravans on our 6-month trip down into Tassie and that. You'd see them come into caravan parks and you just think, no way in the world. No way in the world are you legal, mate. And people just ignore it. They know they're overweight and they keep going. They still just keep going. Anyway, let's get into it, everyone. Let's get into it. Let's get into the results from last night. So I didn't vote for either of them. So just so you know who I vote for. I vote for Bob Catter. Now, probably saying it's a wasted vote. It probably is, guys. When you vote for the independents or the separate little parties and that, we're not really making a difference, are we? Like Bob Catter's been in, and until he dies, he'll keep getting in. He got 66% of the vote last night in this electorate of Kennedy, which is massive, guys. I think it's the biggest electorate one of the biggest electorates in Australia, Kennedy. It's huge up here in North Queensland. People vote for Bob because he's passionate about North Queensland. He's passionate about farmers and all that type of stuff. At the end of the day, he's one man. He goes down into Canberra and he just stands up and has a rant. And then they go, sit down, Bob. Righto, we've heard what you've had to say. And then everyone forgets about it and nothing gets done. Unfortunately, this country, we're run on two parties, the Labor Party and the LNP, guys. They're the only two parties. We're never going to see a third party come in, not in my lifetime anyway. We need a third strong party, but we do not have one. It's like the United States, got Republican and Democrats. They're a two-party thing too. Same here in Australia. Canada's similar as well. They've got other little ones. All they are is an annoyance to the big parties. Anyway, last night, Anthony Albanese, our current Prime Minister, romped it in again. And first thing I want to say is well done to him. He won fair and square, everyone. Fair, maybe not fair, but he won. He shitted him. I looked just before I come on live, and I'll probably do some polls and all that type of stuff. They all go, if Labor get in, you just can't believe the media. The media's full of shit. If Labor get in, it'll be a minority and all that. Well, guess what? I just checked the seats. You need 76 seats to get a majority in the Australian Parliament. 76 gives you a majority. Well, guess what? And it's not finished yet. There's still about a dozen seats being counted still. And he's up to 88. Last time, Labor had 88 seats. Liberal National Party, 36. Others, independents and Bob Catter and people like that won their seats. Like Bob's got his own little party. He was independent, then he formed his own party. They call it the Teals or the Independents. They've picked up 11 seats. So there's 11 so far of annoying little people that'll stand up, have a rant, and then sit down and have their say for their electorate in Australia. 88-36. If that was a football game, that would be a trouncing, everyone. It would be a trouncing. Albo shit it in. And he's the first one since Bob Hawke. First leader since Bob Hawke. Might be both parties. That's gone back to back. Labor's had back to back, but it's been other prime ministers and that. And he's the only one since 1930 something that's actually, usually you win your first term. When you win the second term, you usually lose a bit of the vote. There's a bit of a swing against you. Well, Albo, he swung the other way. He's actually increased his votes, guys, in the second one. He won it. He shit it in. Now people are saying, why? Why last night was it such a dominating performance from Albo? We sat here a couple of weeks ago and there was a vote on who's the worst prime minister we've ever had. And a lot of us here voted that Albo was the worst prime minister this country has ever had. Well, guess what? Last night, and I almost vomited in my mouth, they're comparing the guy to Bob Hawke now. Can you believe that shit? Now, I know a lot of us here on this channel are around my age, a little bit younger, a little bit older. I don't know. I might put a poll up. I'm going to put a poll up in a minute and just find out. I'm tipping a lot of us, going by the comments, didn't vote Labor last night. Well, guess what? A lot of people did. And I sat there last night thinking, you know what? Maybe us older people, maybe we just need to sit down, shut the hell up now, because our opinion isn't what the majority of Australia thinks. We think that the way we think is the way everyone else should think. We've seen how, it should be a national service and all this type of stuff. Well, guess what? I'm coming to the conclusion, and the penny dropped last night after Labor romped it in. The penny dropped on me, and it's going, you know what? Our opinion now doesn't mean much anymore. Like us older people, our boomers and Gen X, guess what? I think we're just going to have to sit down, shut up, and just sit back and watch what happens to this country now, everyone. Okay, because we are now the minority. We've got to face it. We're the minority. We really are. And after I finish this, I'm going to sit down. I'm not watching all the comments at the moment, and be interested to read some of the comments. But I'll tell you now, this country, the millennials, the Gen Y, the millennials, the Gen Z, and the immigrants, they've had their say. And we're all sitting here saying, Albo's a weak prime minister. Our defence force is shit. Our cost of living's out of control. You can't rent a house in this country anymore. You can't buy a house in this country anymore because it's too expensive. The cost of electricity is bullshit. The cost of buying a car is bullshit. There's no manufacturing in this country anymore. Well, guess what? Apparently, that's not important anymore. That's the way I see it. It's not. I'm trying not to swear, guys. I'm starting to get rolled up there. Apparently, that's not important. No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit that 3 Chinese ships sailed around our fucking country the other day and our piss poor defence force couldn't do anything about it because Labor and the LNP party have run this friggin' defence force of ours into the ground. It is piss poor. They've let it run down and we can't defend ourselves anymore. People don't care about that. It's obviously that only me and a few of you guys out there give a shit about the defence of this country and that it's not up to speed. No one seems to care. The people in Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne couldn't give a rat's ass. They don't seem to care. I thought maybe people living in the big cities will go, the young people can't afford to rent a house anymore. That's all we heard about. Oh, you can't afford to rent a house anymore. They keep voting the bloke in. So obviously that shit's not important anymore. Us older people need to sit down, shut the fuck up, and just sit back now and watch the circus. That's the way I see it, everyone. That's the way I see it. We've got another 3 years at Elbow. I don't know. But in saying that, I'm not going to sit here and rubbish Elbow, guys. I think he's weak as piss. I think he's as weak as piss. His speech last night, I thought was very good. His victory speech last night, I thought, good on you. He spoke really, really well last night. And I'm not going to sit here and bag Elbow out. That's not what I do, guys. I thought he gave a really good speech last night. If he could do what he says, we'd probably be in a good way. But he won't. He'll go back to his old weak, woke ways. He was very quickly to acknowledge past and present and all that shit. And as you know, that's starting to rear its head again now. That bloody voice vote. And I'm worried that shit's going to come in. Penny Wong said something about it. It's going to come in whether we like it or not. Then they won't put it to a vote this time. They'll just bring it in anyway. And if it comes in, good. You voted him in. That's what happens. Okay? He had some good ideas. I like the Medicare thing. We all know Medicare is a good thing for this country. That has to keep going. I know. But as I said, all that stuff that we were whinging about before the election, is it really, I don't know. People, we voted him in, and he didn't just scrape him with a minority. He shitted in, guys. And I think the millennials, Gen Y, Gen Z, and the immigrants have heavily voted for the guy. So any of these young people now that want to sit back and whinge about how dear it is to rent, how dear it is to get a house now, don't win. You voted him in. You get we reap what we sow now. And I'm not going to, after this live feed, I'm just going to sit back now and go, I didn't vote for him. You voted for him. And I'm just going to have to sit down and watch my country go down the fucking gurgler now, guys. It's pissing me off. Anyway, I hope he does a good job. I want to see him do a good job. I don't want to see now that he's in, him sit back and get even worse than he was in the last 3 years. I want to see improvements happen. I really do. I hope he does a good job for the country because it affects all of us. But anyway, I'll tell you one thing last night, and we'll get on to Peter Dutton. Before we get on and go, what did he do wrong? And I don't think it was so much what Labor did right. I think it was what the LNP party did wrong. We'll talk about the LNP party. One thing I want to do with Peter Dutton is both guys, before I forget to say it, I want to congratulate both the opposition leader and the Prime Minister on their speeches last night. It was good that we didn't get down into gutter politics like the Americans do. We saw what happened in America, guys, between Trump and what was her name, Kamala Harris, and just how nasty and that gets. American politics, Trump and Biden, just getting real personal with each other. Yeah, it gets a bit heated in the Australian debates and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, the guys still got a bit of respect for each other. And last night, Peter Dutton was very gracious in defeat. He could have come out there and had a spray and rubbish Labor and all that. He didn't do that. He held his head high last night on his speech. Congratulated Albo for winning. Congratulated, I had her name. I'll think of it in a minute. The lady that won his electorate of Dixon, Ali Franks or something her name is. And apparently she lost her son recently, everyone. The lady that beat Peter Dutton in the electorate of Dixon lost her son. And Peter Dutton said there is nothing worse that could happen to a parent than losing one of your kids. And he said, we're all thinking you, Ali, and all that. It was really, really gracious the way he didn't rubbish her and he didn't rubbish Albo. He was very gracious in defeat last night. A bit sad seeing him up there with his family and that. It must be hard to get up there when you've just been thrashed and stay gracious like he did. All right, Albo got up for his thing. And I thought Albo's speech last night was very, very good. I sat there and listened to it. I thought it was very good. And I just thought, good on you. I didn't like the way he started off with the acknowledgement and all that shit. Okay, we all know that. But he was gracious in victory. All right. And he did the acknowledgement. People will agree or disagree. Yeah, okay. It's probably got its place. He wanted to be on about that. I just don't think we've heard the last of that. This voice thing's going to rear its head again in the next 3 years. I bet it does. Anyway, he wanted to go on and say, well done to Peter Dutton. You've been in politics for 20-something years. Well done. And, be gracious in victory. A couple of people were about to start booing Dutton when he mentioned his name, and Albo went, no, that's not how we operate in Australia. We stay humble and we say well done to the guy. So I thought that was a good touch by Albo last night when all these red-shirted cronies at the front cheering and that were going to start booing Dutton, and Albo put a stop to it straight away. I thought that was a good touch by Albo. And if there's one thing that we shit over the Americans with, guys, is our politicians, most of it, like Albo and that. It was, yeah, they have a crack at each other, maybe a bit of unfair tactics and that in the lead up to the election. A few lies get told, the truth gets bent a bit. But at the end of the day, they stayed, it didn't get grubby like the American side of things. I think it was well done. Last night, they were both very, I'm sure when they rang each other on the phone, Dutton would have said, well done, he wouldn't have called him Albo. He would have gone, well done, Prime Minister. Well done. All the best for your next 3 years and that. It would have been very gracious. And I think that's what Aussies do best. I don't think we need to get down into gutter politics. That doesn't do anyone any good. So I thought both their speeches last night were very good. Very humble. And, I'm not an Albo fan, guys, but I thought his speech last night was really good. But the trouble is he can't back it up. You can sit up and do the best speech in the world, but you watch the next 3 years and they promise the world and deliver bugger all. And that's the way it's going to be. We've seen what happened in the last 3 years. Nothing's going to change. Our cost of living's not going to drop dramatic. We're not going to notice anything. We're going to be sitting here in 2 years' time still whinging about how dear groceries are. Nothing is going to change. These tax cuts are coming in. $5 a week. Whoopee-doo. And something else will go up by $10. We'll get a $5 tax cut and groceries or electricity will go up by $20. We're never any better off. Things aren't going to get better for us, everyone. I don't think things are going to get better. Anyway, I'm worried about our defence force, everyone. I really am. Obviously, it's not important. It's important to me, but to a lot of the younger people in Melbourne and Sydney, I'll tell you what, when friggin' Chinese rockets from a submariner start raining down on Sydney and we've got no air defence, then it'll be a problem for them, but it'll be too late. It will be too late. Now, why did it go this way? 88 to 36. There's still 12 seats to count. That could go even higher. It could be into the 90s. It was a trouncing. It was a trouncing last night. Peter Dutton, I think, just comes, when they said it on the news, been all these years come across as the hard man. When he was the defence minister and all, come across as the hard man. The women and children in detention centres on Christmas Island, he was the hard man. Stood for none of them will ever get into Australia and all that. He's always been seen as being a bit of a hard man, and I don't think he can appeal to the average Aussie, everyone. I don't think he can appeal, and he can't. He's got the personality of Slacken's bloody coffee mug there. He had the personality of a gum tree. Never smiled, just very serious man. People go on about how he looks. You can't help how you look, guys. He was big, fit, strapping looking bloke. He wasn't overweight, wasn't a Clive Palmer or anything. He's done his bit. He was a copper for 10 years. He got into real estate and bloody whatever. I'm sure he's worked hard all his life, but he just didn't come across as a man that can relate to the people. He was very awkward, all right? And he just kept regurgitating the same shit over and over and over again for the last month in their when they were leading up to it. I'm going to give everyone a 25% discount on fuel. That would have been nice. I must admit, I was looking forward to that 25% fuel drop per litre. I'm going to give everyone $1,200 tax on your next tax return. And we can't have another 3 years of Anthony Albanese. It was the same 3 lines regurgitated for over the month. The other thing I think sunk him, nuclear power. Nuclear power. There are a lot of Australians who do not want it, guys. And I think that showed last night in the elections. I'll tell you another thing he didn't do. Nuclear power, whether you support it or not, he didn't sell it. He didn't sell it to everyone. He goes, I'm going to put in 7 nuclear power stations and I'll put them in the old, where the coal-fired power stations used to be. And then no costings, no accurate costings. Like it just came across. And even me, I'm sitting back going, okay. There was nothing. How are they going to do it? They said where they were going to be. Where are we buying them from? Where are we getting the South Korean ones? Who have we got in Australia here to manage them? Do we have the know-how? All this type of stuff. How are we going to, what sort of safety measures are in place if we have a nuclear power station here in this country? Exactly what is the costing going to be? Now, I read a thing. There was a bloke from the LNP party sitting next to me yesterday, and he handed me the nuclear power thing from the Liberal LNP. In there, 7 power stations cost $120 billion. Well, all right, eh? So Labor get on and go, this is going to cost Australia $600 billion. That was the figure Labor was throwing around, $600 billion. Everyone's going, where's that money coming from? Dutton couldn't tell us. Dutton could not tell us where that money was coming from. Labor said $600 billion. Where they got that figure from, I don't know. So then I'm thinking, all right, Labor's telling some porky pies. It's not $600 billion, it's $120 billion. Still a lot of money, isn't it? But then the bloody the leader of the National Party, who I've just lost his name there. What was his friggin' name? Who's the leader of oh my God, not Little Proud. Is it Little Proud? Anyway, he comes out and he's talking about nuclear power, and it's not 600 billion, it's 330 billion. So he's the leader of the National Party saying it's going to cost us 330 billion, and then I'll get a handout from the LNP saying 120. Even the LNP party had no friggin' idea how much it was going to cost, where the money was coming from, and people saw through that shit and just went, you know what? We should have started this 20 years ago, looking into nuclear power. Too friggin' late. It's like everything. We've left it too late. Dutton's just gone, oh, I need a big thing to get me across the line. I know it'll be power. We're going to bring in nuclear power. I don't think they really done their homework on it, guys. I really don't think they've done it. Little Proud. David Little Proud. Yeah, thanks, mate. But no, it's not Barnaby Joyce, Mr. Bullet. It's not Barney. Mr. Bullet, you diddly donk. Speaking of diddly donks, here's one over in Western Australia. Mr. Bullet, everyone. Barney Joyce. You're thinking of Barney Rubble, mate. No, it's Barnaby Joyce. And he's not. No, it's David Littleproud is the leader of the National Party. He said 330 billion. The handout said 120. LNP had no idea. Nuclear sunk them. I think a lot of people are scared of nuclear power after seeing Fukushima. Anyway, the old fella yesterday, I was talking to him and I said, mate, people saw what happened at Fukushima and they were worried about it, and Chernobyl. And then he started talking about nuclear bombs. And I said, no, mate, no. I'm not talking about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was during World War II. I'm talking about Fukushima in Japan when the tidal wave, the tsunami hit it, and they almost had a meltdown and nearly lost half their country. That's what people are worried about. Do we have the know-how here in Australia to run nuclear power stations? I'm tipping no. We can't build a friggin' road here anymore. How are we going to build a nuclear power station? I said this on one of my other live feeds. I don't think we've got the know-how. We have lost the capability to do simple shit well. If you can't do the simple stuff, how do we get the big stuff right? Honestly. So Slacken saying nuclear power works very well. I'm sure it does, Mark. We should have started looking into this 20 years ago, mate. We should have started looking into it 20 years ago. Nuclear bit him on the ass. Like when you're going to get up and run for something, don't just get up and criticise the other guy. And that's what I said on another live feed. It's easy to be the opposition leader. It's easy to get up and criticise people. Being the Prime Minister of a country can't be an easy job, everyone. Can it? Let's be fair. It doesn't matter who it is. It's got to be a tough gig. It's hard enough running I've run a cafe. That was stressful and hard enough running a cafe. This bloke's trying to run a country. Okay, so and it's easy for us to sit back and criticise. But when you're actually doing it, I'm confident that if Dutton got in, I don't think we would have been any better off, everyone. Yeah, our fuel would have been a bit cheaper and all that. I just don't think he was the right man for the job. I think a lot of people were thinking about the Liberal National Party 3 years ago. We had 9 years of them before that. And let me tell you, our country isn't in the position it is now because of 3 years of elbow. We got to put some blame on the LNP party, the 9 years before that as well, for the state of our defence force, the cost of living and all that. They are both responsible for letting us to get to where we got. They're both to blame. And that's why I don't vote for either of them, the big parties. But as I said, my vote, I voted Bob Catter in. It's almost like a wasted vote. Bob's not going to go down and change the world in Canberra. He's not going to. Bob can't stand up and sway 88 Labor seats. You know, if he stands up, tries to introduce a bill to shoot crocodiles, people down south are going to go, hey, you can't shoot crocodiles. Can't shoot crocodiles. And he'll get blown out of the water. Meanwhile, us up here can't let your dog anywhere near the water because there's so many crocs up here now. But all the southerners, all the inner city people on that, they don't give a shit about crocodiles. They don't give a shit about the state of the roads in North Queensland. They don't care as long as their bloody cities are right. And unfortunately, that's where the majority of the votes are, guys, is in the big cities. So all us country folk, it's almost like you got to sit back and go, all right, everything in this country revolves around Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. No one gives a shit about the country. Doesn't matter if you're in country Victoria, country New South Wales, or far north Queensland. No one cares. It's like Bob will get up in Parliament, sit down, shut up, you silly old prick, put your hat back on, and we don't want to hear from you anymore. All right, because they've got the majority there now. Now, back onto the LNP party. You know you're having a bad night when you lose your own seat at Dixon. Like, imagine if the LNP party got over the line last night, but Dutton lost his seat. He couldn't be Prime Minister. He couldn't be Prime Minister because he lost his seat. They would have had to find another Prime Minister. They've had a bad night, the LNP, and they're not going to bounce back in the next 3 years, guys. Don't think Labor's just here for another 3 years. They're going to go another 3 or another 6 before the LNP party get their shit together, if they ever get their shit together. Because I'll tell you what, they're in disarray at the moment. They lost Josh Frydenberg on the last election, who was the treasurer. He's gone. He was a smart cookie. He lost his seat. He's not even there anymore. And now they're going, Dutton's gone. He'll go out on a big fat pension. Who's going to come into the fray now? Can anyone think who's going to now be the new opposition leader? They're talking about, Angus Taylor. He's the, who's he? I don't even know what he did. He was the shadow finance minister, wasn't he, or something? Or Susan Lay. Who's she when she's at home? They're throwing up Andrew Hastie's name, the West Australian politician, ex-SAS officer. Let me tell you, he'd make a fantastic defence minister, but he has not got the credentials to be a Prime Minister. He was an army officer. He's got no financial or economic background that I'm aware of. He hasn't been in long enough. Usually if you're going to have a Prime Minister, it needs to be someone who has filled a few, Dutton's been a health minister. He's been a defence minister. It's always good for a Prime Minister, if you can, to have been the treasurer. You've got to do your apprenticeship in that to be your prime minister. You can't just throw someone who's coming out of the army, won a seat, I'll make you shadow defence minister, and next thing you're going, oh, hang on, I'm the opposition leader now, I could be the prime minister. Got no idea about bloody economics and finance and all that. Andrew Hastie, you can't have him run to be an opposition leader. He hasn't got the credentials. Phil Thompson, as much as I love these guys, they're ex-Miller. Phil was a grunt in an infantry battalion. Phil has not got the credentials to be a prime minister. They don't have the credentials to do it. Who has? They're talking about Angus Taylor, maybe. If he's been the deputy finance minister, maybe he's got that economic background and that. Maybe he will be. Susan Ley, what's she done? I don't even know who she is. They're talking about, they're the two. LNP party's got no one to step up to the plate. They're friggin' thin on the ground, guys, for people who know what they're doing. They've got 36 seats to pick from. Who's going to be shadow defence minister? Probably Andrew Hastie still. What's a shadow defence minister do? Just get up and criticise what the defence minister, Richard Marles, does. So Labor's bloody all over it at the moment. The LNP party don't think they're going to bounce back in 3 years and throw Albo out. I reckon we're in for a long haul with Albo. He could be our longest serving ever prime minister. Who knows? Isn't that a horrible thought? Anyway, yeah, I know. It's scary, isn't it? And to think that most of us all think down the same line when it comes to Albo. Well, guess what? We're a minority, everyone. We got to admit it. We are a minority. And it clearly shows from the voting last night. We are, us older people that want a tough leader and bring in national service and do this and do that. That's not important to the majority of Australians anymore. So I'm just going to sit back now and just sit back and watch the circus. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt watching my friggin' country go even more backwards. We'll see what happens. I hope they don't. I want to see my defence force get stronger. I want to see the cost of living go down. I don't want to see my country be overtaken by immigrants. They're going to keep flowing into this country. And don't think this is racist or anything. Us white Anglo-Saxon Aussies are going to be a minority soon. And it's coming. It's coming, guys. And it'll probably happen in my lifetime. We are going to be a minority. The way this country is going. Immigration, they're letting the wrong type of people in. And I said it to the old bloke last night, the LNP bloke sitting beside me. Nice bloke. We'll talk a bit about him in a minute. I said, mate, I'm for immigration. We're letting the wrong people in. He goes, F an oath we are, mate. So even he agreed with me. It's too late. Big T. We just got to sit back now, get the lube out, roll over, and it's coming, guys. It is coming. But we can sit back and... One thing, watching Sky News squirm at the moment, they're already coming up with it. They are so far right, that mob. They're up Trump's ass. They're up Dutton's ass. They're just so far to the right, and they are licking their wounds this morning. And you should see the excuses coming out of Sky News. Dead set. But anyway, people will say, oh, Albo was making up porky pies. That's how they do it, guys. You sit there and the most putrid one was something coming. I didn't go right into it. That Peter Dutton got together with some OnlyFans girl. This came out on TikTok, and that he is into bondage and she was leading him around like a dog on a lead and all that. How disgraceful. I don't know where that came from, everyone. Do you think Peter Dutton has got two teenage boys, a lovely wife and that, and then they come up with garbage like that to smear him? Absolutely disgusting. I'm sure it didn't come from Albo. I'm confident to say Albo would have even shaken his head at that. But it came out. Someone started that rumour. Someone probably paid an OnlyFans girl to put something up on TikTok that Dutton's into bondage and all that. How low do you have to go? I'm not blaming Albo for this. Someone started that sick thing, and even people in the thing were making comments going, come on, that's just gutter. That's gutter trash. Absolute gutter trash. And that's the type of shit that Peter Dutton had to put up with, guys, is people slandering his name like that. He's probably a good man behind the scenes. So what's going on? Brian's away at the moment. I can hear an alarm or something going off in his house. Nah, I'm looking after back thing and Brian's at the moment. Can't go out and mow their lawns. It's pissing down rain. All right, I've had my say, guys. LNP made a meal of it. They made an absolute meal of it. Peter Dutton, well done on what he's tried to do. I'm sure he's done his best. He's worked hard. He didn't appeal to the people, everyone. As much as we hate it, Albo appeals to modern-day Australians. It's obvious. People, they don't want this bloody strong leader and tough leader. They like we're minorities now, guys. Everyone's going, we need to stiffen. I was one of them. Need to stiffen Australia up. We need another one like Trump to come in and stiffen this country up. Well, the majority of Australians don't want the country to stiffen up. They just want to keep going the way we've been going. Good luck to you, everyone who voted for Labor. I don't think things are going to get better. Let's do a poll. I know he's itching for a poll. Remember, these are not. We don't know who's voting. Here we go. Did you vote? That's supposed to be a capital. Friggin' hell. Did you vote Labor? No one knows the vote. The votes are anonymous, guys. I cannot see here who. I can't go, Beaker voted Labor, and then no, I don't know. Okay, be truthful, guys. No, it's anonymous. No one knows whose answer. I can't see who's voted yes, who's voted no. It's totally anonymous, but 73, that's what I'm thinking. Majority of us didn't want to see Albo get in, but we have to respect democracy, guys. He got in and he shitted in. We have to respect that. I hope he does a good job. I hope we see things start improving. I hope we see the price of fuel come down a bit more. I hope we see our food and our groceries at the shop get better. I hope I see my defence force starting to get stronger and that we spend a bit of money on there. I hope we don't keep seeing Palestinians and Israelis and all that shit protesting down in our cities and spray painting our friggin' war monuments and that. I hope we don't see South Sudanese people running around Melbourne with machetes and all that type of shit because we've let them in. That's the type of shit that's happened. I hope we get better. I really do. One Nation's another one. But once again, Pauline gets up. I'm glad someone mentioned that. Who was it about One Nation? Yeah, they did well last night, One Nation, didn't they? Because a lot of people didn't vote. A lot of people did not vote for the major parties. But Pauline can get up and say what we're all thinking. Okay? But at the end of the day, she's a minority as well. Because 88 seats there just shows that the majority of Australians now like the way this country is going, whether we like it or not. They don't seem to care. And I said it at the start. Obviously, defence wasn't a big issue. It should be. Defence wasn't a big issue. The cost of living, I thought alone would have sunk Albo. No. People, all these young people don't whinge about how much rent you're paying and that anymore, guys. The majority of Australians are happy for it to keep going the way it's going. And Canada, Mark Carney just got in, not the Liberal. It's a bit different over here, Slack. And our Liberal Party are more the Conservative Party. It's totally the other way around here. Labor, mid-left, and LNP, mid-right. I think the LNP maybe should have looked at going, I don't know. If they went further right, maybe they would have lost by even more. So we don't have extreme right and extreme left here. The Labor's, there's the centre. Labor's a little bit left. LNP's a little bit right. I wouldn't say LNP's right like Trump or anything. Nowhere near it. Jennifer's got to go. Okay, see you, Jennifer. So Durantio, I can't even say that name. Canada's Conservatives were up to like 25, 27% against the Liberals just before the tariff stuff. Yeah. Pierre Poilievre looked like he was going to be the next Canadian Prime Minister. Comes along the big orange fella, and he sunk them. And everyone voted for the Liberals again, which is like the Liberals in Canada are like our Labor Party here in Australia. Okay, mid-centre left, slacking maybe, centre left. I wouldn't say they're far left, but they're certainly centre left. There you go. Have a say, guys. Well, there you go. 69, that's a bit lower. So 69%. Let's end the poll there. 31% out there voted Labor. I don't know if anyone does want to come on. I'm not going to criticise you. If anyone did vote Labor, if you want to come in the chat room and say maybe a couple of the main reasons that you did vote Labor, or you didn't vote LNP. I didn't vote LNP because of their nuclear policy or whatever. No one's going to shoot you down in flames, guys. We're going to be respectful, and we've got to respect everyone else's thoughts. Not everyone on here, guys, thinks the way I do. Everyone's welcome to come on and have your say. We keep it respectful. If someone does come on and says, I voted for Albo because of this, don't shoot them down. We've got to respect, everyone's entitled to have a vote here. I'll just see you, Jennifer. I hope Albo does a good job, guys. He's back in. I've accepted it. I'm just a bit worried about a few things that I think he's going to do. I'm worried about Chris Bowen more than Albo. The green energy thing, guys. I just think they're going to drive us into the ground. The cost of, they're going to want everything EV and, I was watching that bloke yesterday, the LNP, he's talking about how much rainforest gets destroyed here for windmills and that. And we've talked about that before. This green energy is not as green as we think it is. The actual energy coming out of it might be, but the destruction that they cause to build these wind farms and that is bullshit. And all the solar panels, everything's imported. We're importing everything. Our manufacturing is non-existent now. Dear, oh dear. Anyway, TextPad. Oh, yeah, TextPad, how are you, mate? Haven't seen you for a while. I don't vote for Trump or Harris. I voted for none of the above. Yeah, mate. Yeah, and I was the same here in Australia, mate. I didn't vote for either big party. I didn't think any of them were worthy of my vote. Anyway, the bloke that was in, he's got another run now, and well done to him. He shitted in last night. He actually increased he didn't go back. As I said, usually in your second term, you usually drop a bit of the vote. People get a bit off you. They start going to the other side. Happens all the time. Last night, Albo picked up. He increased his stuff. So he shitted in. Poilievre, Durant, you're over in Canada, mate, eh? Poilievre only lost just riding and came in second because boundary changes and a huge chunk of Liberals from the former Liberal stronghold voted against Poilievre. Yeah, mate, I think it had a lot of people were worried about what's going on south of the border there, and I think a lot of them thought that the Liberals would handle the big orange fella better than Poilievre. I thought Poilievre would have been a bit stronger against Trump, if anything, but that's not the way it worked out in Canada. I know Slacken's probably in a similar boat to me. He's probably thinking, my God, we've got another 3 or 4 years with the Liberals in Canada. Well, we've got the same thing with the Labor Party here in Australia. And there's nothing we can do about it now. We've got to sit back and just hope for the best. We've got to hope for the best. And I think now that Albo knows a lot of people, I'm worried about some shit that's going to happen, guys. I really am. Anyway, a couple of people, Phil Thompson, ex-soldier, who I know well, Phil down in Townsville, he held his seat at Herbert last night. Andrew Hasty, the Shadow Defence Minister over in Western Australia, Kenning, I think, he held his. So someone's going. Which Phil's off? Phil, see you later, whichever one that is. There's a few on. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you reckon? I reckon we're in for another 3 years of the same. I think we'll be sitting here whinging. I'm going to stop whinging about it now, guys. No, it doesn't achieve anything. We can sit here and whinge about the cost of living and all that. Australians have voted. They're happy with the way this country's going, obviously. Okay, so be it. I'm just going to sit back. As long as they keep paying me my army pension, I'm just going to sit back and not give a shit anymore. Okay, I get tied up. I get probably too invested in. Probably I'll give too much of a shit about my country. Anyway, that's the way it is, eh? Can't get people. We're going, oh, should we bring in national service? 80% of you said, yeah, that'll never happen. National service will never come into this country. We'll never even do it. Nuclear will never come in. We're just going to keep going the same way we are going. Yeah. Should the LNP split, Pat Ryan? Well, that's going to make them, that'll probably make them weaker, Pat. The Nationals aren't going to take over. No, I don't think so. I don't think so, mate. I don't think the LNP party splitting. I think Littleproud's the only bloke who, the Greens lost a couple of seats last night. I think the Teals went well. Some of the independents. One thing I was wrong on, everyone, and I had to Google it. I didn't understand how the Senate worked. Every state has 12 senators. I thought it was 6. It's 12 senators for every state, and every territory, ACT and Northern Territory, only have 2 senators. So Queensland's got 12 senators. Tasmania's got 12. New South Wales got 12. And it's a mixture of everything. How it works, I put a thing up on Facebook saying, I hope that Lydia Thorpe doesn't get in. Well, guess what? Say Victoria's got 12 senators. 6 of them, it's rotational. So only 6 of them went up for election this year. Lydia Thorpe, she's not up for election for another 3 years, which is, I was hoping she'd get booted out. We got another 3 years of that vile piece of what. So anyway, one bloke I was hoping to get in is Jared Rennick. Jared Rennick from the People First Party, very smart man with finance and all that. He didn't get in either, guys. Like, we need people like that in here. But we need people like Jared Rennick. We need them in the LNP party. We need the people with the smarts in the 2 major parties. It's no use having a very, very smart senator that didn't get in anyway, by the looks of it, with all the financial knowledge and the tax knowledge and that, doing his own, just being out by himself. We need the smart people in the major parties. Otherwise, we're going to keep going backwards. But anyway, it's done and dusted, guys. We've got another 3 years, minimum of Albo. Congratulations to him. I thought his speech last night was very gracious. Peter Dutton, where's the LNPs in disarray? Who's going to lead them? They are really thin on the ground for leaders, guys. They really are. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm going to go. It's been an hour 28. I'm going to go, lick me wounds. I've got a few things to do. I've got to start getting ready. Got to get the caravan ready for Tuesday and all that type of stuff. So I haven't got time to stuff around. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Anyway, it is what it is. I'll read all your comments later, guys. When I sit down with a coffee this hour, I'll go through, replay this, look at all your comments and everything. But for all us guys who think like me, we're the minority now, guys. It's obvious that the young people and the immigrants and that are happy with the way this country's going. As much as I don't agree with it, that's the way it is. And we've got to just sit back and watch the circus now. I'm worried about what direction we're going to go. Anyway, as I said, bloody, he's weak. When it comes to the hard decisions, he's a weak man. But anyway, people, that's the way we are now. We love weakness these days. Back in the 70s and the 80s, weakness didn't survive. That's how this country's gone, and we keep talking about it. We've turned into a weak country. Yes, we have. And we vote in weak leaders because we're weak as piss. That's the way the majority of Australians are happy with weak leadership. We're happy with weak leadership. We're happy with the way our country's going, apparently. I'm not, but apparently the majority are. So, yeah, the weaker you are, the more you lie, the more Australian rewards you. Yeah, I know, Camp and Oz. But, mate, it wasn't just like he scraped in by the skin of his teeth last night. He shitted in, which tells me that I'm a dinosaur. I'm an old dinosaur with old beliefs. I need to sit back, shut up, and just watch in horror now as the direction my country takes. Dear oh dear. What do you do? But, as I said, it could be worse, guys. It could be like Ukraine. We might be soon. We might be in the near future. We might be like Ukraine and missiles raining down on our cities. And then we sit back and go, how come we've got no air defense for our cities? How come we've got no long-range missiles? Because there's ships sitting 300k off our shore lobbing missiles on us. We got nothing to bloody sink them with. Our submarines are all rusty and not in the water. We're retiring our frigates, our rusty old frigates, and our new ones are years off. Our Hunter-class frigates. We haven't even made a decision on our general purpose frigates, the 11. We haven't even made a decision on whether we're going with the Megami class or the Miko, German Mikos, or the can't even make a decision on what frigates. Till we make a decision, they're not going to be built. So in the meantime, our bloody 7 or 8 frigates rust away, they get decommissioned, and we've got no new ships to put in the water. We've got no supply ships left anymore. Our submarines are that old that there's only one of them in the water. Like, that's where we've got, guys. Both the major parties have got us into that about defence. Obviously, defence isn't a big issue. Obviously, defence is not a big issue. Peter Dutton mentioned defence a little bit. I'm going to buy a new squadron after. He should have been hammering defence. He should have been hammering defence. Talking about nuclear. All right, I'm going to bring in nuclear. This is how we're going to do it. He didn't tell anyone. There was no plan. It was just like he made it up, pulled some figures out of his ass, and that was it. Like, if you want to get voted in, you've got to have plans, guys, and you've got to tell people how you're going to do it. When I become Prime Minister, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. This is how it's going to benefit you people. Like, there was none of that. There was none of that. He just got up and said, I'm going to take 25 cents off a litre of fuel and give you a $1,200 rebate on your tax, and we can't put up with another 3 years of Anthony Albanese. That was it. That's all he had. And he's going to bring in nuclear, but had no plan on how he was going to do it, where they were coming from. Real lack of information in relation to the nuclear power, guys. I don't think we got the know-how. Hey, I'm not going to go right now. I just thought of something. This old bloke yesterday, 85 he was, and he's a very, very good businessman around Innisfail. Anyway, block of land down the road here, and they were going to put servo up there and hardware and all this, like one of these big things just on the way out near the Driver Reviver north of Innisfail on the way to Cairns. Spoke to him yesterday, and I said, what's ever happened to that block of land down at Shaw's Corner there, with a servo? And he says, yeah, that was my block of land, mate. I said, when's all this stuff getting built on it? The servo and all that, those big billboards are going to... He said, no, mate. He said, I sold it. He goes, it all got too hard. He said they wanted me to put in a roundabout, which was going to cost me $1.5 million to put in a roundabout. And then Ergon Energy, I had to move 4 telegraph poles where the roundabout would had to have gone. And Ergon were going to charge me $10,000 a pole to move a telegraph pole 30 metres or whatever, so the roundabout could go in. And then he said, then all the council bullshit. He said, I just sold the block of land, mate. He said, you'll never see anything there. So there goes that. He's just built 22 units here in town, which is good. The town needed more accommodation. 22 units. He said, you know what? He said every electrician that wired up those units had to come from Cairns. We had no electricians in town. He said we had to get plasterers from China And I said, oh, come on, mate. I said that the builder would have done that to save himself some money. He said, no. He said, the builder's my son-in-law, Alan Sultana. He said, there are no plasterers available in North Queensland to do the plasterboards. He said, so we got them down from China. And he said, let me tell you, they did an incredible job. He said, they worked hard. They did a fantastic job. I said, are you serious? Where to get plasterers down from China to plaster up these 22 units here in town? He goes, yep. I just shook my, I couldn't believe what he was telling me. I could not believe what he was telling me. So there it tells you, we've got a lack of tradies, guys, haven't we? No electricians here in town. I had to wait 4 or 5 months. You saw how long I had to wait to get the bloody generator switch put in. I think it was 6-month wait to get a Sparky here to put a generator switch in for me. We got no tradesmen. There's another thing. Where are all the friggin' tradesmen gone? Where have they all gone? Phil Taylor, tell me, where are all the tradies gone, mate? We don't have enough. We need to start pumping apprentices out. That's something we should never have taken our foot off the accelerator when it comes to apprentices. We've got to keep pumping apprentices out. And if we're going to bloody do immigration, choose who we let in here. Let in Americans, Canadians, British people, South Africans, blah, blah, people with trade skills like we used to. Oh, no, you can't do that. We just let in all these other people that come in here, don't even speak our language, don't believe in our religion, don't believe in our way of life, got no trade skills, and they come in here and they just take our money and take our accommodation. It's bullshit. Anyway, that's the way we're going. I was going down another rabbit hole there. Marky Lavelle's got 3 tradie sons. That's good to see, Mark. We need a lot more of it. We really need to see. We need to see our people at school going. And the elbow's going on about TAFE. Now, this could be a good thing. Free TAFE and all that. We need young lads to stop worrying about doing year 11 and 12 now if they don't need to do it, and leave after year 10 when they're 15 and go to TAFE and start and be a motor mechanic, an auto elec, an electrician, a plumber, a brickie. There's Pete over in WA. Can't get brickies anymore. Over in Perth, we need tradesmen to keep this country going forward. We haven't got tradesmen. We need a lot more of them. Where'd they all go? Yeah, we've been abused by the system. Yeah, I know we have, mate. Hit buck for PM. I'd like to have a crack for a week. But it's obvious that this country does not want people with my beliefs and thoughts on our way forward. It's obvious last night that my opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one. I know that. My opinions are worthless now, guys, than the way I think. I sat there last night after Albo's speech and thought, you know what? Sitting here preaching to all you guys, I'm just an old dinosaur with old beliefs. And I've got to sit back now. I'm not going to, but I've got to sit. They want me to sit back and accept that this is the way forward for our country. I call bullshit on that. I think we're in deep shit. Nothing's going to get better. That's my belief. I think we're fucked. There you go. I think we are well and truly fucked now. We're going to keep going backwards. Sorry if there's any kids watching. I apologise, but that's how I think we are. I think we're in deep shit. Dear oh dear. There is one LNP senator out there. Now, can senators, well, they can, because Penny Wong's not a member of parliament. She's a senator. Oh, Penny Ping Pong. She's a bloody danger to this country too, let me tell you. I don't trust her as far as I can kick her. She was the one who came out the other day and said the voice isn't dead. The voice is not dead, which makes me think they're just going to bring it in anyway. Dear oh dear. Which means every decision that's made has to have the Indigenous people give it the okay before we can make any decisions about this country. I think that's friggin' disastrous if that happens. Anyway, we voted it down 60-40. The country had its say on that, and it's still hovering around in the background. Will it rear its ugly head again? Penny Wong's already mentioned it, guys. She's mentioned it. Albo hasn't said anything about it. Will it raise? Brian's bloody thing's beeping. You thought I was going, eh? Just make sure my spelling's right. We voted it down 60-40. Who thinks it's going to get forced? It's going to be snuck in now. Who reckons they're going to sneak it in? Penny Wong mentioned something the other day about it. She said the voice isn't dead. It should be friggin' dead. We voted against it. There, that's not the only thing I'm worried about either. Richard Marles, our defence minister, needs to get a rocket under his ass and needs to get our defence force going, guys. It's in poor shape. That's one thing I can't let go. I can't let go our defence force in this country. It needs to be strong. We need to keep spending money. We need to stop spending money in countries that got nothing. We're still giving money to Afghanistan. Can you believe that shit? Why? We're giving money to Cambodia. Why? I brought up a list there a couple of live feeds ago, and the places we're spending, giving millions and millions of dollars to a year. Come on. South Pacific, yes. Rest of the world, frig off. Put that money into childcare or hospitals, health, defence. Put it into something, but spend it on Australians, not shitheads overseas that have got nothing to do with our country. They do nothing for us. Why are we giving money to Afghanistan still? Why? We're at war with them not long ago. They're run by the Taliban and we're still sending money over there, according to the last thing I saw. Come on. Worry less. Cannot control any of this shit, mate. Yeah, I know. Get the van ready and have a beer and chill the frig out. Yeah, I agree, Justin. I think we've got to do it. And that's what I said at the start, mate. I've just pretty well admitting defeat now. My whole friggin' the way I think now is archaic. I'm an old dinosaur. The young people and immigrants are running this country now and voting for who they want, and you reap what you sow. And I'll be the first one to get up and go, told you so, when it all turns to shit. And it's already started turning to shit. Backbone of our economy. Rochi was talking about, what did Rochi say there? I've got to go, you great people. I'm at work. Oh, okay. And got to do some rubber flipping. So Rochi's changing tyres, and Marky Lavelle said that the tyre fitters are the backbone of our economy. And they are. What would we do without getting them bloody tyres put on our stuff? So anyway, 79% of you reckon that it might sneak back in. Keep your ear to the ground, guys. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens down the track now that he's got another 3 years. And he knows that a lot of Australians behind him. He'll have another crack at it because he's more popular now than when he first came in. He's more popular now. I reckon it'll rear its head again. Anyway, we'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to piss off this time. Happy birthday to Slackens. No, not Slackens, Nana. Julie's Nana, who's 100 on the 7th of May in 3 days' time. Same day as Rafa. Happy birthday, Nana. Happy 100th. What a wonderful, wonderful. These people that have 100 guys, Julie's Nana, haven't they seen some changes over the years? Haven't they seen some changes? Wow. And I bet you reckon I'm nearly 60. I'm sitting back going, we're going the wrong way. Imagine these people that were 100 that used to see the old days and had just seen so many changes. I wonder, Mark, ask Nana one day from me, is the world going in the right direction for her? She would have seen a lot of stuff. She would have seen a lot of stuff, mate. Are we heading in the right direction? Or is she at the end of her life now where she goes, this isn't a better world than the one I came into? It'd be interesting. Mark, let me know via a message, mate. Next time you're sitting down with Nana at birthday time or whatever. So Buck from Australia said, what's your thoughts on the world? From when you were a young girl all the way through, do you think we're in a better place now than all those years ago. It'd be interesting to see what she says. So happy birthday to Julie's Nana, 100. What a great innings that is, 100. Wow. Not many people get there, guys. Not many people get there. I know I definitely won't. I feel like I'm not even 60 for a couple of months, and I've friggin', yeah, I'd hate to think what I'm going to feel like if I make 100. It's not going to be nice because I feel shit and I'm only 60, the way my body aches, let me tell you. All right, see you later. We're going camping on Tuesday. The weather is shit, but we're going no matter what. We're just going to get out and go for a week and get the van out. And like when you don't go camping for a while, you kind of lose your enthusiasm for it. But once I get out there, I'm going to go, oh, why didn't I need to do more of this? And it's going to happen. So anyway, stay tuned. There'll be maybe a video clip coming out of that. We're going to Cooktown, if you're wondering, guys. Going to go up and see where Jimmy Cook. Imagine him coming back now. He'd shake his head in disgust, wouldn't he? Jimmy Cook would come back and go, why did I discover this joint? Anyway, that was a joke, by the way. See you later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I've got to get out and do some stuff in the shed. See you later. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Exciting times ahead. Interesting times ahead. See ya.